Hello again everyone, Box Salesman here with a Torment 6 Star Metal build. Before we get into this build, I have to warn you, this item is required to use this build. If you don't have it, I suggest you check my other pet guide in the description of this video, which can do Torment 4 very comfortably without this weapon. But probably won't do enough damage for Torment 6. Also this helm helps really a lot, but this one isn't too hard to gamble, although some people have taken a while. Okay, let's first get into a small demonstration. I guess I can kill Core of Ariat and kill Asmodan. There's always some elites there. If you want to see a Torment 6 Rift run with this build, I will be uploading that later today or tomorrow. Let's find some elites first. There's nothing here. Ah, it's an elite. As you can see, the build kind of stays at the back. It's pretty safe to use it. That's why it can do Torment 6 easily. And that was an elite pack. Maybe you can't read it because it's too small, but it does definitely say Torment 6 on there. Okay. And we get really low cooldowns in this build, but I'll be explaining all of that after this demonstration. Just want people to see it in action first before I talk about it for way too long. That's a lot of scorpions. That's another elite. Okay. Now we're just going easily through these guys. And another elite down. No, a goblin. Here you can see how easy a Torment 6 goblin is with this build. Oh, I actually forgot to pop my fetish army. Yeah, okay, I didn't have fetishes up there. If I would have had fetishes up, that guy would have lasted like 4 seconds. Oh, here's a double, well, no, not a double elite pack. It's an elite pack and a unique. Some kiting is often required though, but since we don't really need to do much ourselves except casting these 2 cooldown spells, we can stay at range really nicely. And that's the unique down. And the elite down. Okay, let's go to Asmodan now. Show you the single target damage. Right after Asmodan I will be showing you all the skills and the gear and everything. Okay. Just pop all the cooldowns. And then we basically stand here and Asmodan dies. Okay. And he has about 2.9 billion health, which is now all gone. So, I hope you're kind of convinced about this build. You've just seen me clear Torment 6 quite efficiently. So now let's talk about the skills. First, again, the Star Metal Kukri reduces the cooldowns of Fetish Army and Big Bad Voodoo. So obviously we use Fetish Army and Big Bad Voodoo in this build. Let's get started with the Fetish Army. Here Legion of Daggers is the best choice, simply because some of the other runes change your weapon damage to something that's not physical. And this one just gives you 8 fetishes instead of 5, which is almost double. That's really good. Then we get to Gargantuan, Wrathful Protector. This guy crits for insane amounts. If you're using Big Bad Voodoo, you can crit for over 150 million at moments. Then we use Big Bad Voodoo, of course, with Slam Dance. This thing is a 2-minute cooldown, but still, because of the Star Metal, we will be getting it off cooldown really often. And I've had moments where I actually had 3 Big Bad Voodoos up in one fight, just at different locations, so I could run around them and still keep the buff. Then there's Spirit Walk with Jaunt. This is almost a must for every Witch Doctor. It's really, really powerful. Makes you immune to damage, gives you movement speed, it breaks crowd control, and it's pretty spammable, so this is a real great all-around spell. Then as a secondary, we use Piranado. It gives us 15% more damage, and it also crowd controls, which is really nice. And then for this spell, there's actually multiple options, but I like using this Grasp of the Dead with Death is Life. First, because it's physical damage, and secondly, because this Death is Life thing actually makes you summon zombie dogs. As you see, I have 3 zombie dogs at the moment, but I don't use zombie dogs anywhere. This is just from this rune here. And it also gives you extra health globes, which synergizes well with the passive we're using. So let's get into those passives then. Here's Pierce the Veil. We barely need mana. I don't even have any mana cost reduction in my Paragon or anything, and I still don't run out of mana ever. So we can just use this to do more damage. Then there's Gruesome Feast. Because we again spawn health globes, this gives us really nice mana recovery, intelligence increase, and the intelligence increase is also a pretty damn nice all resist increase. So you get toughness from this, you get damage from this, and we spawn quite a lot of globes anyway. Then Grave Injustice, an amazing skill for Witch Doctors. Every time something dies, your cooldown's lower and you recover some life and mana. This one is really amazing. You will be able to spam your Jaunt a lot more and use your Piranado and Grasp of the Dead a lot more also. Then this one is kind of optional. I suggest taking it if you do not have Tasker and Theo gloves. Tasker and Theo gloves make your pet attack faster, which will in return proc your star metal more, and then your cooldowns will lower much faster. But if you, as me, don't have the Tasker and Theos, then you probably need some extra cooldown reduction on there, just for those situations where you pop your fetish army and then you don't find any monsters anymore after the fight. So that's where you want some more cooldown reduction. But again, if you have Tasker and Theo, you can try replacing it. Jungle Fortitude is pretty good if you want toughness. There's Spirit Vessel also. It can save your life. On hardcore, I even suggest taking Spirit Vessel always instead of Tribal Rites, even without Tasker and Theo. That's it for the skills, really. Then Paragon. In core, movement speed till you're capped, as almost on any build. And then in challenges for the rest. Offense. I like to take the attack speed over the crit hit chance, because your pets actually do more damage the higher attack speed they have. They don't attack faster, but they do actually do more damage. But I suggest just checking it yourself and looking at your tooltip DPS and just seeing what happens to it. Crit hit damage is usually better than crit hit chance for this build, but again, it might depend on your personal gear, so check it out for yourself. Then defense. I like always getting mitigation before stacking extra life, so I went with all resist first, then armor, and then I'm getting life. In utility, this is honestly not a really great place for this build. Like, area damage, pets don't proc area damage, so it only works on Grasp of the Dead and Piranado. We don't have really great life on hit either, and we don't really have any mana cost, so almost everything here is pretty bad for the build. But still, area damage is always strong, so it makes your Piranado hit a lot more because it bunches them up nicely, so the area damage procs really well if enemies are bunched up. And then the life on hit, just because we have no mana problems at all, so life on hit is still more important. I don't have any gold problems, so I'll never take gold find. I'll rather take the mana reduction, even though I generally never run out of mana. Okay, let's get into the gear now. Of course, star metal kukri. This is really obvious. Then Mask of Jeram, increased pet damage. This is actually the lowest pet damage roll possible, so you might try and get a higher one. And then here I'm using Mage Fists, but I really rather have a Tasker and Theo. Those would be so much better for the build and give me a lot more damage and reduce my cooldowns more. Then, in my opinion, Harrington Waistguard is a better belt than Witching Hour for this build. Okay, the damage is more situational, but the thing is, on a Witching Hour, the damage takes up 2 primary rolls. You lose 2 primary rolls to get the damage, while on this belt you only lose 1 secondary roll to get the damage. So the thing is, here you can get 2 extra stats like all resist and armor. But in return for that, your damage is more situational. But again, you're a pet doctor, so you can run around a lot and go loot everything anyway. Then for, I really suggest using Aughild. Aughild is amazing on any build, because the 3 set bonus is really strong. Either use 2 pieces and use Ring of Royal Grandeur, or just use 3 pieces like I'm using here. Then for the legs and the boots, I'm using Captain Crimson's at the moment for the cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is actually pretty decent for the build, but you don't need to stack high numbers, so like 20% or something is already enough. So I just get it from the gem and from the pants and the boots. But actually, Captain Crimson's is not my optimal choice. I'd actually rather have hexing pants of Mr. Yan, and here maybe ice climbers or the ones that make you move unhindered through enemies. The hexing pants of Mr. Yan are really good because you can just cast your stuff and then you start running around while your pets are doing damage, and because you're moving, the hexing pants will give you a lot of damage increase. Okay, then there's the offhand. Thing of the Deep is really amazing for this. It actually increases the range on your Grave Injustice, and it also makes it much easier to pick up health globes. Because of the secondary, the increased gold and health pickup range, that's actually the legendary affix on it. And not much else is really good anyway. Although the homunculus to give you free zombie dogs can be good, so then you can replace this with something else, but I didn't find many things really that amazing for this skill. Then what's left? The rings, okay. And the amulet. The amulet, I just took something with high-end crit damage and crit chance, but I'd rather have one of those arcane immunity or whatever immunity amulets. I prefer that because this secondary isn't that amazing really. Then Stone of Jordan with physical damage. I actually almost forgot to mention that. You need physical damage on all your pieces. Where you can get it actually, here on the bracers physical and on the ring. And there's some weapons with physical also, but again we kinda use star metal, so. You can also get it on the helm in theory from Andariel's Visage, but again you rather have Mask of Jeram. So the bracers and the Stone of Jordan are the most important places to get it on. Also the increased elite damage is amazing. Then I'm using a little trick here. Unity. So you might think like, this item isn't that good, why aren't you using Ring of Royal Grandeur and then using 2 of each, and then maybe like combining 3 sets. But here's the little trick. My follower has a unity also, so what happens is I split damage between my follower. But my follower also has your follower cannot die, which is actually kind of a bad tooltip. In reality it means your follower cannot take damage. So what happens, you share damage, but your follower cannot take damage. So all the damage that's shared is just mitigation. You almost double your toughness by using this unity combo. Of course this won't work in party play, and that's why I just have the Ring of Royal Grandeur here. If I do need it, I just put it on, and I can change my bracers for even better bracers. I have better ones in the stash. So this unity trick will only work solo. Okay, that's quite it for the build, I think. I've explained everything, and if you have any questions, just ask. And keep in mind, this variation is specifically for having a starmetal kukri but not having the zunimassa set. If I would have the zunimassa set, I would change this to fire bats, vampire bats, and change this to fetish psychophants. Because then you can just use the fetish army once, and then you can spam this for even more of them. So before you start criticizing my my use here of Grasp of the Dead, because it's not used a lot, this is pretty good if you don't have the Zuni set. Okay, I hope you learned something, and bye.